Is Paul Heckingbottom turning into Ryan Lowe? That's the question on some Preston fans' lips because they're seeing too much boring, negative football away from home. Welcome back to Where North End Walk. It's episode 25. It's 20 minutes of Preston chat. Also this week, Liam Lindsay has signed. What do our team think to that? AI is predicting Preston North End's away fixtures to come. Just how many points will the Lilywhites pick up? And who is a worst ever Preston North End striker that our team have seen in the flesh added to our goalkeeper last week? Stay tuned to the end of the video to get Etienne and Harvey's view on that. Welcome back to our Preston North End Walk. Ash is sunning himself on holiday this week, so hopefully we can laugh at his scorched red face next week. Harvey, kick this one off for us. Is Heckingbottom turning into Ryan Lowe?
I think it's a bit of a stretch in it. I myself wasn't happy with the performance, but after giving it a few days, I do think Heckingbottom has turned up for a draw and he's got it, which at the end of the day, yeah, it's a point. But when you've got one win away from home all season, I think you might as well just start picking up points where you can really. It weren't the most exciting game at that. We offered absolutely nothing. Again, like I said, I thought we were really poor, but comparing him to that is a really far stretch for me.
0 shots on target, an XG, one of the lowest XGs that has been in any away side all season. You can understand why the comparisons are coming, Etienne, can't you? Bobby says boring, negative football as Heckingbottom turned into Lowe. I'm not making it up. It's what the fans are saying. Do you? Is there smoke without fire here, Etienne?
No, I think the fans who are saying this are outing themselves as really impatient and, not willing to give managers time. We all knew when Heckingbottom was coming in that it was going to be a transition season. If you told me we were going to get 4 points off Luton, including a draw this season, I'd snap your hand off. So, look, the performance is dire. Let's not escape that fact. It was horrible. 2 shots away from home is ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it's a point away at Luton, who aren't having the best season in the world, but they had a new manager. History's shown that they should have taken 3 points, really. So, I think a lot of fans are just reacting to the fact that we had no shots. Had it been 0-0 and we'd come close on a few occasions, we wouldn't really be getting any of these comments. It's just, again, our fan base proving that they can be quite reactionary. And, if we go and turn over Watford tomorrow 3-0 away from home, then he's going to be called the greatest manager since Grayson or since before then. So I just do not agree with that.
Do fans not deserve a little bit better though, Etienne? Because it's a sad day. People have travelled. It's a horrible ground to go to, and it's not the effort from the players. They did what the manager set up to do. Is that you can't blame the players here, can we? I mean, some other tweets from it are saying first time Hecky has been really wrong about the game. Utter tripe with no bite, barely a shot. It needs sorting out. There's no difference in Watford last season. Fans after Watford were fuming with the lack of intent to win the game. Today, Luton have gone second bottom. They had 60% possession, and we couldn't register a shot on target. It's effing woeful football. There was a lot of anger following that Luton game. And I know you're saying people are patient, but I mean, you're so much better than what you put out, aren't you, Etienne?
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. The fans do deserve a bit better. A lot better. I think we all deserve a promotion campaign or two. But yeah, I mean, we can be better and we should have been better. I'm not trying to escape the fact that the performance wasn't great because it was dire. But at the same time, I just want fans to be a bit more realistic. We're never going to turn... If we've been awful away from home all season, we're not going to turn that round in an instant, especially because he's not really had time to set up his team, which is a reason that's carrying out throughout the whole season. He's not had time to shape the team into how he wants, so he's having to work with what he's given to him. So, yes, whilst fans deserve better football, I'm still taking a point any day.
Okay. Another criticism that are coming in, Harvey, and we're big supporters of Heckingbottom as we have been all year, was team selections. In particular this one, and one name in particular was coming through loud and clear from fans. Lou here says how we managed the game. We barely had shots, couldn't string a pass together, and we played Keane for 60 plus minutes. I'm all for backing Hecky, but his team selection makes me scratch my head week in, week out. Dan says, playing an out-and-out defender at wing-back, out of form, Keane, etc. The last 3 games have been back to the worst of low ball. It's starting again. What's your take on the Keane comments, Harvey?
You know what, funnily enough, I back the Keane comments. I think this season especially, I think Keane has been, I know he's been injured a little bit, but I think since his return, he's been absolutely nowhere near the levels. I just think I think he looks really lazy. I think he looks really lost. There was like a significant moment. I can't remember what minute it was in the game. I think it was first half, but it was like I think we're on the counter attack and the ball's given to Keane in the middle of the pitch, like to driving towards space, and he kind of just goes in a circle and somehow ends back in the defence. And it like at the minute for me, he's just become really frustrating to watch. I don't think he's got any like attacking mindset. I think as well he's lazy pressing defenders. I just think when you put Osmajic next to him, I think the comparison is so drastic because I think Osmajic offers so much more. He just looks really below par for me, and I'd be happy not to see him play for quite a while until the form picks up. In terms of the team selection, I agree with it. I think for me personally, I think the lineup for Luton was extremely defensive. I think starting Letton and McCann, both two more defensively minded midfielders, it didn't look like we had an intent to go and win the game. Again, I understand it from a different viewpoint because you want to pick up a point. You've barely won any away from home, but at the same time, I would have liked to have seen us go for it, considering that form. And to me, it just kind of felt like we were just there for a point and that we were happy with it.
Okay. Of course, I think people's worry is that that's how you set up against a team in 22nd away from him. How on earth are you going to set up against a team in 7th in Watford and 7th in Middlesbrough at home this weekend and 8th in Watford this week? I mean, crikey. Should we just put nil bets on both them games now, Etienne?
I don't know. We just always seem a bit more confident at home, and I don't know what it is. It's like we go away from home and they lose all their confidence. It's like, right, well, we need to settle for a draw. We need to settle for a loss. But at home, I'm actually confident beating Middlesbrough. So, I mean, Watford, I'm not confident about tomorrow. Watford can be, when they're on form, they're a brilliant side. Calvary makes it click. So I wouldn't put a bet on 0-0 for that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a result against Middlesbrough at all.
Okay. Let's look at some transfer news then as well. Of course, we didn't talk about Charlton as well. Harvey, were Charlton the better side in that game?
From I weren't able to watch all of it because I was at work, but from the majority that I watched, I do think for major parts of the game we very much looked second best. I thought realistically until the second half we were quite lucky not to be a goal or two down really. But at the end of the day, it's name into the hat for the 5th round. But I do think it's a big reality check because if Wickham are to continue the form, I know they've not got the manager anymore, but if they continue playing the way they're playing, I think we're in a lot of trouble.
Okay. We're still 5 points above the drop zone as well. We just need to keep an eye on that, don't we? You've still got 5 teams below you, but most of the teams underneath you now are starting to get their act together. I think Plymouth are gone, but if you look at Portsmouth and Hull and others, for example, just need to keep an eye on it. Liam Lindsay agreed a new contract until 2027. Etienne, is this good news for you?
It's good news for me. The issue is the length of the deal. It's 2.5 years, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, what's the plan from here on and out? Because that suggests to me that he's still going to be a regular starter. And we've made our opinions quite clear on the defence. I said Lindsay was probably our best defender a couple of months ago. My opinion's changed on that. He's fallen down the pecking order. One thing that's really become evident is that he cannot play anywhere else in defence apart from the dead centre of the back 3, which is going to be a big issue if we are going to go to our back 4. And it's still an issue because he can't play left or right, and that's where he becomes a liability. So if we were to give him a contract, I would have given maybe 1 year less. But at the end of the day, it's depth. He's a championship centre-back who has done quite well for us in the past couple of years, it's not the end of the world like some fans are treating it.
Okay. Harvey, it's been greeted quite unspectacularly by some fans. It's a bit harsh for him, isn't it?
I think so a bit, yeah. Like Etienne said, I think until recently he was one of the standout defenders, especially in that back three. But again, the issue lies with him being. Every time I watch him, I think he gets slower and slower. And obviously playing central, that's a very big issue. I think the issue for me, and I think probably many fans, like it's been suggested, is the fact that the defence has been such a big issue for seasons before, and especially this season, and we've had an extension to every single defender. I think that's I think that's where the issue lies, because it doesn't look like there's a forward mindset, there's a progressive mindset. It's nothing's going to change because you've tied all three down, which I think doesn't make sense for a lot of fans, and me included. I don't mind it because, again, like I said, until recently, Lindsay's been very good for me, but I do think it asks a lot of questions from the club as a whole in terms of ambition, which I think is probably what the club needs the most.
Okay. Next week we're obviously going to be chatting about the return to Ewood Park, so come back next week for that one. It's going to be a nice blockbuster Friday night. Looking forward to it already. Also next week we're going to be talking more about the worst ever Preston defenders. Stay tuned, because at the end we're doing the strikers, so we'll get their view in a minute. Before that though, AI has predicted Preston's next, or all the away games to come. Last week we did the home games. Let's have a look at how many more points it's suggesting you might get away from home, given you only won one. It actually predicts you might win 3 more, which is interesting. Win at Coventry. Of course, historical data says that's going to happen. A win at Derby and a win at Bristol City on the final day of the season, which will be good. Draws at Watford, Blackburn, and Norwich, which I'm sure you would take right now. Losses against Sheffield United, Sunderland, Leeds, and Hull. No questions there. Etienne, would you take that if I said you're going to get 12 points now away from home?
Yeah, considering our form. And if the AI is right about our home form as well, I think that'll be a really good end to the season. Wins at Derby, Coventry, Bristol City, I'd probably expect. Surprised about the Hull one. I think we can go and get a result at Hull. But all the others, I'd take. I don't think we're going to defeat Sheffield United, Sunderland, or Leeds away from home. And 3 draws at Watford, Blackburn, Norwich. Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Okay. Harvey?
Yeah, nail on the head. The only one I'm a bit sceptical about is Norwich, probably. I think I could probably see a loss there, just because I don't know. I just hate Norwich, and every single time I watch, they seem to beat us. So yeah, okay. That's the only one I'd change. But for me, like you said, if you get 12 points out of them, especially with the away form, yeah, I'd take it all day long.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got some tough trips there, haven't you, to do? I know we've joked about Blackburn, but it's going to be a tough away trip, that one, given the hostility of what happened in the previous leg. Sheffield United, Sunderland, and Leeds goes without saying as well, doesn't it? Thank you for that. We're so close to getting 100 subscribers. If you can help us massively do that, we love making this content for you weekly. Just drop us a subscribe, something back for us. That would be huge. Right then, final bit then this week is the worst ever Preston side that these guys have ever watched. Last week they decided to put Connor Ripley in goal. So sorry, Connor. This week, of course, we're playing 2 up top, so we're looking for a striker each from both of the lads here. Let us know in the comments yourself who you think should get it. Harvey, you could go first.
I know I was robbed of it last week, but I actually do want to give it to Etienne, because I'm torn between 3 at the minute and I can't decide.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
One of them.
No worries. Okay. Right. Etienne, he's allowing you to go first again then.
I wrote this down last week. I think, unless I'm forgetting someone really obvious, I've gone from when we got promoted into the playoffs. So, and one striker's just popped into my head that I forgot, but I'm going to crack on with the 2 that I've picked. Steffi Mavididi, on loan from Arsenal. Yeah, he did nothing. He wasn't as powerful as he is now. Obviously, I might be being a bit harsh because he was in the development phase, but he was just useless. Every time he played, he did absolutely nothing. Got recalled, went back to Charlton in League One, and he then took the steps to become the player that he is. And then the second one might surprise a lot of people, but I went with Liam Delap. Was not convinced by him at all. He missed a lot of big opportunities that could have pushed us up the table. There's one against Coventry where he's about 4 yards out. He turns on the swivel and he puts it wide, even though it's an open net. That's 3 points that went begging. He only got one goal and it was a tap in from 4 yards. It's been brought up so many times this week, but how did we have Liam Delap, Troy Parrott, and Tom Cannon in the same team and did not go on the playoff charge? I don't get it. So Liam Delap's my other striker.
Okay, that is a surprising one. Harvey, were they on your list?
Delap was, yes, because again, it was absolutely awful every time I watched him. But I wanted to give him a bit of credit just because he equalised against Blackburn, which was enough for me. Funnily enough, the other one was mentioned, and it was Troy Parrott. I think he's probably the most for me. He's probably one of the most frustrating strikers I've ever watched at North End. I think he just did so much leading up to scoring and then just couldn't hit a barn door. And it was just absurd. And especially now with him being all the way in, I think it's like the Netherlands and he's absolutely flying. You can't believe it. And I think the other one for me was just an honourable mention. It was Connor Wickham because I think he played 14 minutes, got injured, and I don't think he ever touched another minute for North End ever again. So yeah, Connor Wickham's another good shout for me.
Okay. All right then. Who have they missed? Let us know, of course, in the comments below. Next week we're doing the defendings line as well. So get your thinking caps on for that. Right, you two, thank you very much. Enjoy your trip to Watford tomorrow night. Of course, we can't comment on how that's gone, so we'll review that next week. Good luck against Middlesbrough as well. The Borough fans are not happy with Michael Carrick at the moment, so depending on how it goes, it might be managerless Borough by the time they get to Deepdale. Good luck for that. We'll see you in 7 days' time. This has been Where North End Walk. You're going to drop us a subscribe and a like, I hope, and we'll see you in 7 days. Cheers, fellas.